Hello, I'm Michaela, and this is Brain Bush. I took a sabbatical, and 3 weeks. I just needed time to reset and to just rest with the Lord. So now, guys, we're back again. I will very much try to be as consistent as possible, but that 3 weeks was needed, let me tell you. So, found faithful. That is what we're going to talk about today. Our scripture comes from 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 10 to 11. She was deeply distressed and prayed to the Lord and wept bitterly. And she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your servant, and remember me and not forget your servant, but will give to your servant a son, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall touch his head. So this is Hannah praying for Samuel, which is her son. And it's a pretty interesting story because she was married and could not conceive for a while until today, or the day that happened. So it's a pretty interesting story because it just shows the waiting period and all of the hard things that can happen during that time. So, found faithful. She was found faithfully praying for her son, even though a lot of people said she would look crazy. People told her that it wouldn't work out. And that's how we should want to live. What should God find us doing is going to be our question that I want you to think about this whole time. What should he find you doing? He should find, for me, I'm going to answer it. I'm just going to say that he should find me faithful with what he graciously gave me, because a lot of things in life we don't deserve, which is basically almost everything. Unlike another breath, we don't even deserve that. So, the definition of faithful is being loyal, steadfast, and true to someone or something. It's like an allegiance towards something or someone. And my first point is that fruitful does not come without faithful. So you can't expect to get a tree and get fruit and all these things if you're not being faithful day after day, watering the seed, like nurturing the soil, all of those things. So in order to be found fruitful, we have to be faithful. It's just kind of like how those three guys in the Bible, I believe it's in Matthew. Don't quote me on that because I did not double check. But the three guys, the three servants with the gold, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. I know you know. But they had gold and they were supposed to multiply it. One of them hid one of them multiplied it, and the other multiplied it as well. Tripled it, I think, actually. And one of them hid it away and gave it back to the master when the master was coming to look for a multiplication of what he was given. And that's kind of what this is. God, he does take his time with us, and which thankful to him, but also we have a part to play in the gifts that he's given us. So for my personal example, he's given me, I guess, some type of teaching, I would say, and just like a deep understanding for things that he is telling me. And so he wants me to use that to encourage other people. Some people, their calling might be serving. Well, honestly, all of us should serve. Like, let me not even just... And also, I just want to say, kind of like bringing it back, ministry it's not a calling, it is a lifestyle. Yes, we are called to serve, but like ministry is a lifestyle that we can do anywhere we're at. We don't have to be on a platform for this. We don't need to be like leading a church. We don't need to be on the worship team. We don't need to be building wells. I mean, it's nice to build wells in Africa, but that is a form of ministry, but if you're not doing that, that doesn't disqualify you from ministering to people. You can minister in your job, being encouraging to people. Sometimes you could even like host a worship night in your dorm, or you could just pick up trash around the place. I know a lot of people don't like to do that, but picking up trash, it makes stuff look cleaner. And so, yeah, you can minister wherever you're at. It's not a specific thing, it's a way that you live. I'll get into that later. So God found Hannah praying despite seeing others get what she longed to have. And even with low hope, she went to God, trusting that He would hear her heart. So I know for me, I've had times where people have been like, this is not going to work. You need to move on. You need to do something else. A lot of people have said that to me when it comes to certain things. But I just need to know, I'm the type of person who would like to exhaust all their options before I accept defeat. I will find every single way possible that I can do, but it doesn't usually work. Well, I mean, sometimes it works, but not all the time. So, one thing that He's teaching me this season is that He can do way more than I could ever do. And so that gives me rest, which I've not done very well because I've just been resisting the fact that I can rest. And that is why when He calls us to certain things, He's going to ask us to do things that we may not be equipped to do, but it's because He wants us to lean on Him. So God is in control, and instead of resisting it, we should rejoice in it. We should rejoice in knowing that He's in control, instead of trying to pull things to go our way. Because let's be honest, we do it a lot. We do it quite a bit. And these are going to be some examples of what God found in some of the people that He's talked to, right? In the Bible. Or not talked to. Well, He has talked. I feel like He's actually talked to all these people. Yeah, David, Daniel, Noah, and Moses. Okay. So David was found pursuing God's mercy even in his mess. Daniel was found fasting even when others doubted God's power. Noah was found building the boat that God told him to build. And Moses was found praying on the behalf of the Israelites. Do you know how many times he begged God to not kill them? He was going through it. It's crazy. So the point is that God gives us things and God allows things, and He also doesn't allow things, and He also takes certain things away. For example, if you're in a relationship and He says that this is not it, He might take that away. And that means that you might just have to give it up. And I know that sounds easier said than done, or it is. But sometimes when He takes things away from you, it's because He's trying to build something else. Like, if a plant was inside and it's just in a pot and it's growing and you see the stems and everything, you can't have a garden in one pot. Like, you're going to have to move the plant outside. So sometimes He's going to have to move things out, change some things because He wants you to be faithful with what He's given you, and He wants fruit from it. Because ultimately, I mean, a lot of people will chase after the fruit. I will say that. A lot of people will make the fruit their identity, and that is not what it's about. But I will say that the fruit is exactly the evidence that He wants, because it's just evidence. Like, it's good to know that there's a church out there that is His hands and feet that can help people and meet them in their time of need, because that's what we're supposed to do. Because He met us in our time of need too, when we were about to die. So, I just don't want people to get caught up in the fruit of it, but to know that there's going to be some times where you're going to be uncomfortable, because that's what God wants you to bring forth. I hope that made sense. That was a lot. But next I want to talk about how should we want God to find us, which is basically kind of what I just said. We want to steward things well. He should find fruit from what we steward well. A heart that is soft so that He can sculpt it and change it if it needs to be changed. That is a big thing that a lot of people, especially my generation, struggle with, is having a heart that is a harder heart, to where, like, this is the plan, I'm set in my ways, this is what I want. But having a soft heart, like a heart of flesh, God can sculpt your heart, change it, take things off, chip away at it, whatever he needs to do to make it his. Because basically he just wants our heart. That's really what it's all about. He really, really cares about our heart, and when your heart is sculpted and changed by him, the way that you live and the way that you love others is different. And the whole point of being his children and the whole point of being part of the kingdom is to bring the kingdom to earth. So bringing the love that he has to others. And it's not just limited to the church, because some people will say, oh, I'm just going to love the people at my church because I know that they're reading their Bible. Like, no, you have to love everybody. The people who don't even probably know what a Bible is, or the people who don't like to go to church, the people at your job who are maybe even an atheist. Those are the people that you have to love, or you get to love. You should. So, yeah. Worshiping even when I feel the worst. It's hard. It is very hard to worship when you don't want to. It's hard to read your Bible when you don't want to. But worshiping is basically a heart posture that is just surrendered. It could be like something hard is happening in your family and you just worship. It could be you feel like you don't want to and you just turn on some Maverick City or like some Elevation. Elevation is so good. But just worship God. Like, you might not know everything and you might not want to be in that humbleness, or not humble, that humble place. But we need to be humble in order for him to reveal himself in a way that can change our lives. He'll reveal himself. I will tell you, he will reveal himself, but the heart posture that you take on when you worship, it's not like anything else. Like, it's really not like anything else. It's the best. So trust even in tears. I will tell you, it is hard to trust God, especially when first of all, it's hard to trust God, period. But it's also hard to trust God when you're in pain and when you're crying and tearing your clothes. But trusting him even through the tears, even when it hurts, just saying, yes, I know it hurts right now, but God, I know you have a plan. Yes, everything looks like a mess right now, but I trust you. That's what you have to do. You really have to just tell yourself that, because it makes a big difference. Running to him even when things look ruined. Run. I will say run. There was a time this summer where my back was absolutely against the wall. Like, there was nothing that I could do. All I knew was that, like, I was in a position where I had everything just felt so heavy. And there was no one that I could run to. Like, no one could understand this. Like, not my family, not my parents, not my friends. Like, he was the only one that could help. Like, and I feel like everyone needs a season like that in their life where it's just you and God, and something crazy happens, because it's life. Like, it's not like we're exempt from certain things. We're not exempt from sorrow. So when you get into those seasons, when it's just you and him, that's where you find his love. Like, that's where you find, like, the deepest of loves, is when it's just you and God. Because I will tell you, like, there was nothing I could do, nothing at all, and that is when I experienced the most close that I've probably ever been, or at least in a while, I would say. And that's what I would say. Run to him when things look ruined. Like, I had nowhere to go, and it was just him, and he made sure I knew. He made sure I knew that it was just us. And so I'm thankful for that, though, even though it was a little bit painful, but I'm thankful for that because it showed me a new part of his character, and that I love. I love it. So you also want to look at him even when you have nothing to say. In this time, in this culture, I feel like everybody always wants to say something. People always have something to say. Even if it doesn't concern them, and even if they've never been in that position, they have something to say. And so that's why even when you don't know what to pray, or even when you don't know what to say, you can be faithful in those moments by just looking at him. Now, sometimes for me that looks like, even when I don't want to pray, even when I don't want to read my Bible, I will watch a Christian movie. That's what I will do. Or I will watch a sermon. Or I will go outside and I'll look at his creation, because I really love going outside and seeing the stuff he creates. Like, I love the clouds, the trees, the water, all of that. I'll go on a walk and listen to worship music, because hearing the truth of worship music helps me to fix my eyes on him, even if I don't know what to pray. Like, there was a time this summer, the last 3 weeks have been wild and crazy, but there was a time where I didn't know what to say to him. I didn't want to run, but I didn't know what to say to him at all. So just looking at him and just in silence. It seems weird thinking about it in a physical way, but just think of sitting in front of someone and just not saying anything, just staring at them, just quiet. And that's what he wants, because that gives him time to talk. And some people will say, what are you talking about? But seriously, I fully believe, and I've seen, that God will tell you what to do. He will direct you, whether that's audibly, whether that's something on your heart, whether that's through a friend, something that you see, even a thought, asking him into your life, into your mind and your heart. Yeah, you will hear from him. He will direct you. The next one is just a simple pursuit after his heart, no matter the breaking it will cause my flesh. A simple pursuit after his heart, no matter how much it will break my flesh. That's the way that we should want to live. To go after his heart, to go after him no matter what, even though it is going to hurt our flesh. It really is. It's going to break us. It's going to break our flesh, but it's going to build our spirit closer to him. And that is the way that he designed us to be. That's the way that he designed us to be. Jesus on the cross, his flesh broke, but his spirit was still strong and persistent and defeated death. So how much more should we follow after him in spirit? How much more should we seek the things of his kingdom, even if our flesh hates it, as you should, as our flesh should. If you're not uncomfortable in your flesh, then you're not doing enough in the spirit. And I've had moments like that, and I know we all have those moments. I'm not saying you should be miserable every single day, but if your flesh is resisting, then you're doing the right thing. How to be faithful. I'm sorry, that was a little with love. I say it all with love. How to be faithful. So I've told you guys about how we want God to find us, different ways to be found faithful, and now how to be faithful. So this is going to be how to apply it, because I wouldn't want to tell you guys all this and you not know how to do this, because that's just terrible. That's horrible. So first, I would say to give back what he gave you. So God gives you breath. Sing to him, just praise. God gives you life. Live for him. It's pretty self-explanatory. One thing I like to do is pray a lot, because sometimes I forget I have free will. I really have the free will to pray, and I'm over here crying for what? For what reason? I mean, he said to cast all my anxieties onto him. And so just remembering that, one thing I like to do is I'm away from my family. So I remember, okay, God gave me a family. So I just give back to God what he gave me. I pray for them. I say, God, can you please draw them near to you? Thank you for keeping them alive. I pray that you keep them healthy? Stuff like that. So that is just me noticing what God has given me and giving it back to Him by praying. Or finances. If I get money, I will, tithe and offer. I'm sorry, I don't know why that was. I will give back like 10%, right? That's what everyone says to do, or in the Bible, first fruits, 10%. So give the first 10% to the church, and then the rest, save the rest. Next, pray about every little thing. That's kind of what I was talking about in the first point. So praying about every single thing. Like, God, I don't feel like myself today. Please help me. And I know that sounds weird, but like just asking Him for help it just makes a big difference, because it's a reminder that you're not doing this all on your own. And that's where we mess up. That's how we fumble the bag when it comes to being faithful. We think that we have to do all this by ourselves, and we're not supposed to. It was never supposed to be enough. So just praying about every little thing. God, I'm in a bad mood today. Can you please help me to be a light to those around me? Or, God, I just feel really sad today. Can you please give me some of your joy? Or, God, I'm very tired. So can you please give me the strength and the energy to help my coworkers? It's just that simple. And I think that a lot of people would be happier and more purposeful and productive if they prayed more, because I've even seen it with myself. All I had to do was talk to Him. I didn't have to hide. I didn't have to crash out. All I had to do was talk to Him. And everything, it wouldn't be fixed, but it wouldn't be just on me. That's the thing. When you pray, not everything will change at one time, but it's just like letting go. It's giving it to Him. So, the next thing is to dwell in His faithfulness. And a lot of people, at least me and my friends, we have been talking, and we don't really like to dwell in certain things because it makes us upset. But if we dwell in the right things, in who God is, in His character, then we are experiencing His faithfulness. So looking back, that is something that culture will tell you to not look back. The world will tell you to not look back. But I must look back so that I can see His faithfulness and remember His character. Because looking back to where you came from is exactly where this is exactly the place that you're supposed to be. Because I can tell you, a year ago, everything looked completely different. And I have been unfaithful, and there have been times where I've been faithful, and there's also been times where I don't even know what I'm being. And so just to know that God is faithful and that He's with us through all of it, it's just very helpful. So yeah, I hope that you guys can be faithful in what you're doing in your everyday life, even if it's just you might not have enough time to sit for an hour and a half and listen to Maverick City or Elevation Worship. However, you can turn on a 3-minute worship song while you're driving to work, or read a devotional if you don't have time to read the whole New Testament this week. So just like the little things, give those things back to God, pray about every little thing, and dwell in who He is, in His faithfulness, because that is how you will be found faithful, and that's how we want to be found. So I hope you guys are living your best life and, spending time with the Lord, and I'll see you in the next one.